What up, tubers? We're making jerky. 2 different types of meat and 2 different flavors. One, we have beef bottom round. What is this? Beef bottom round. I don't even know what that is. Pre-sliced for carne asada. And then we have the eye of round. So we're going to slice these up, keep them separate. And then for seasoning, one's going to be teriyaki. The other was going to be hatch green chili.
Bloody studs.
And then the liquid smoke. I don't know. I'll smell it and see if it smells like something I want to add to one of these. I don't know if this is something I'll use or not. I don't know what liquid smoke is. I just know it sounds kind of cool. So let's take a smell here and see what... Actually, this smells pretty good. That would go good with the teriyaki. Alright, so I think first we're going to do... I don't think it really matters. Just do this one either. It looks like this one might be easier to cut. So we're going to cut this into jerky strips. Marinade, I think we're going to do about 2 hours. I get paranoid with like raw meats. So first we're going to trim off some of the fat, because the fat is actually the part that will spoil first, even though we are going to be dehydrating and vacuum sealing this. So as far as the size of your jerky strips, this is going to be completely up to you. These are going to shrink noticeably in the dehydrator. Okay, I don't want to go much longer than this strip. If I get any longer than this, I'm going to probably cut them in half like this one. For me, this is a little large, but it's got fat, so we can trim that off. Probably going to half this one. What did we pay? We paid $5.88 for the beef round and $9.40 for almost 2 pounds. So we paid about $15, and if you go out and buy a large bag of jerky, you're going to pay anywhere from $15 to $20.
For not even a pound?
Yeah, for just a large bag of jerky, which, like Mike said, it's not even a pound once it's all dehydrated. So we are actually saving quite a bit of money by making our own. And the only work involved really is cutting it, and then it's going to marinate, and then put it on a dehydrator. So it's sort of a set it and forget it. It's like trapping for food. A little bit of work, and then the rest is just done by the devices. So while we still have power, figured we're gonna go ahead and make some beef jerky here. And I'm guessing from what I've learned so far, the dehydrating process should be around 4 hours on the highest setting. And we'll have jerky. So probably a grand total of about 7 hours between marinating and dehydrating.
Yeah, save that fat, give it to Max.
Yeah, I think once we master the beef here, which really I don't think there's much to it, and we get a good supply to cache, I think our next thing is we're going to dry fish. And Max the Pirate Dog's going to get a whole bunch of beef fat here. The one thing I'm doing wrong that I'm going to switch on right now is you should actually make these slices, you should go against the grain, because that makes it easier to tear pieces off when you're eating it, as if you're going against the grain. So I'm going to change that up starting now. It's going to result in smaller pieces, but easier to eat. So that, I screwed that up. I should have been going cross grain this whole time. Oh, and Mike passed his ham radio technician test today. So he's licensed as a technician. I think the next step, I'm not totally sure, but I think his next step is getting his call sign. That's just a guess. I'm not totally sure what comes next, but I think he's got to get his call sign, and then I think he's going to go ahead and at some point after that practice for the next whatever the next license is after the technician license. So you see here now I'm going across the grain, and that's supposed to make it easier when you're eating it. When you bite into it, instead of going with, you can see how going across the grain would make it easier to eat. One thing I did read about, after you dehydrate it, they say because the dehydration process isn't real high temperature, it actually dehydrates over a long period of time at a low temperature, that you should take, and that's what we've prepared right here. Once it's done and it's dehydrated, you throw it in the oven at 275 for about 10 minutes, and that'll just kill any bacteria that may still be on the meat before you go ahead and then store it, whether it's long-term storage like we're going to do with the vacuum sealing, or if you're making this for your family and you just to eat, then it helps to kill any bacteria that's still on there. These gloves are actually out in my car, and I don't want to go out and get more, so I'm just going to wash the gloves while I do the marinade portion here. So for the marinade, like I said, you just sort of wing it. I'm going to use this hatch green chili marinade. Throw in some salt, some pepper, maybe like some onion salt, stuff like that, and water. And like I said, I'm basically just going to wing it. But being as I came from New Mexico, if I see hatch green chili on anything, I'm getting it. A lot of people use Tupperware for this portion. I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope that I can do this. Recycle. So you're going to want a lot of salt. Garlic and herb. I'm going to add the jerky. Okay. This is the part that I just think will be easier than using a Tupperware jar. The Tupperware jars, to me, is more difficult to keep everything submerged. A lot of times what people end up doing is every 30-45 minutes they'll open the Tupperware jar up and take a spoon or a fork and push the meat or turn it. This method here, it should just all pretty much remain marinated the whole time without having to worry about messing with it. So let's see, it's Mike, what time is it?
What time is it? It is 3:23.
All right, so we'll go 3:30 or 5:30, between 5:30 and 6. I'll check this out. Right now we're going to go with the next batch, which is the teriyaki, using the Eye of Round. Again, this is almost 2 pounds for $9.40. And this one here, I'm going to try and remember. I'm going to try and, this one is a little more difficult to tell where the direction of the grain, it's not as obvious as the other one was. So I'm not going to worry as much about this one. I'm just going to cut this one into larger strips. Believe it or not, I think Jackhammer Mike is making a pot of coffee. I know that's hard to believe, but the boy likes his coffee. Alright, so into this one we're going to put the teriyaki. Liquid smoke. This is mesquite. It smells good. Doubt I'll be using that again anytime soon. I'll let that sit in there for about 2 hours. I'll come in and stir it up after about an hour or so. Boom.